back to my channel. Today we are talking Thanksgiving. A lot of people are gonna be making Thanksgiving for the very first time this year because of COVID and not being able to travel from family's house to family's house. And I wanna show you how to do this the easiest way possible, where you still get your traditional Thanksgiving dinner, but it's not anything you need to panic over. It's just a big chicken. To be completely honest, it's just a big chicken, and I'm gonna walk you through a start to finish how to do everything from the turkey, the sides, even the dessert. If you go and look at some of your major grocery stores, I know one here, they will let you pre-order an entire Thanksgiving dinner. It usually feeds anywhere from 6 to 10 people, and it's usually around $50 or more for a crowd that size. Ours has the turkey, the gravy, the mashed potatoes, the stuffing, cranberry sauce, and this weird little marshmallowy side. That's it. No green vegetables, no rolls, no dessert, nothing, and it's over $50. And you still have to reheat it in your oven for it can be up to 2.5 hours of work you still have to do. Mine, I'm gonna show you, cost me from Walmart $44 for every bit of it, and it's only gonna take us about 3.5 to 4 hours anyways. So I think this works out much better, and it would end up feeding the closer side to 10 to even 11 people instead of possibly 6 to 7. So let's get started. First thing we're gonna talk is the turkey. I got this one from Walmart. It was running 68 cents a pound. So no, it's not overly expensive to do this. This entire bird was $8.44. He is 12 pounds, well, 12.4 pounds. And this thing right here is still a very good turkey. It's Jennie-O. It even has the gravy packet in there if you don't want to wrestle with it. See, gravy packet right there. So even that part is included, but I'm gonna show you how to do homemade gravy because honestly, that's a bit salty and I don't really like it. But just being honest there, that's my personal preference. But this is the first thing we're gonna talk about. A few things for the turkey when you get it. 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up with a frozen turkey. You can get a fresh turkey. You do have to ask the butcher traditionally for those, and they are more expensive. Keep that in mind. And if you don't want to do an entire turkey, this whole thing, 12 pounds, was $8. If you do a turkey breast, they're usually only around 3 pounds, and it was $9 and change in Walmart. And they are a lot more expensive, a lot less meat. Yes, there's a bit more work to this, but it's honestly not worth it because you can freeze this meat and use it for more dishes down the line. You don't have to eat it all today or over the course of the next 3 days. When it comes to your turkey, if it's frozen, for every 4 pounds of your turkey, it is 1 day to thaw it in the fridge. So if you have Thanksgiving on Thursday, you're cooking it, you have a 12-pound bird, you need 3 days in the fridge for that thing to thaw. If you don't have that time, you can always take this, put it in your sink, fully covered with cold water, switch the water every 30 minutes, and it will take just several hours, maybe 4, 5, 6 hours, depending on the size of your bird. No matter what packaged turkey you get, it is going to come with instructions. It's even going to give you a thing to figure out how long to cook it. This is a general rule of thumb, but the best thing is a meat thermometer and babysit it, but it will tell you what temperature and everything, and that you will need to remove certain parts. I'm going to get started on that part. If you are squeamish, you're going to need to fast forward for a minute, but I am going to start on cleaning it. This is the part for anyone who can't handle seeing raw meat. You are gonna wanna fast forward because we are going to open this sucker up and get it cleaned. When you cut it open, beware, there is a lot of liquid in the bag. If you're going to do this on your counter, near the sink is best so you can dump it out. Your turkey is going to have this bag sticking out right here. You are going to have to rip that out, and as well as the neck bone that's also in there. And the neck bone. You need to rinse this thing completely and then pat it dry as well. Few more disclaimers. For one, this is poultry. Remember to clean your hands, clean your sink, disinfect all of that. It is raw poultry. It can pass salmonella. The other thing is it's gonna come with a turkey timer. The lovely little joke about this, throw this sucker away, do not use that. Okay. Once he's completely dry, now is when you're gonna need your roasting pan. If you do not have a roasting pan with a rack, which by the way, I got this in Walmart a couple years ago, it was only like $9. If you do not have a rack, you can create one out of tin foil, or even roasting vegetables down there like onions and potatoes. You could put those under him and set him on him. Turkey is now on the roasting rack. His skin is as dry as I can get it. This is the part when you're gonna season it. You can look online, there's a million ways to do it. I'm just gonna show you the simplest way that I do it each year. I've been more elaborate, I've been more simple. This is just a really good way for good, flavorful meat. This season, I use margarine, not real butter. You can use either one, but I use this. I'll probably end up using half a stick for a bird this size, or for a bigger one for full-size family, a full stick of butter. Yes, meat. Meat, we're gonna have to clean your hands now, stop. What you'll do is you'll put the butter in a bowl, get it nice and soft, not melted, just softened. And then basic seasonings, if you're going to do this without too elaborate: salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and then sage. If that's all you use, that's still more than fine. If you wanna go a step higher, you can buy poultry seasoning. Poultry seasoning is very good, and it has a lot of those same flavors in it. This smells like pretty much Thanksgiving when you open it up. This is a good one. If you wanna go one step further, the complete seasoning from Walmart, this stuff is amazing. Just cut back on some of the other ones. Don't put as much garlic powder or as much onion powder if you're going to use this, because it's already in there. If you like some spice to your bird, this stuff right here, add this. This is amazing, but again, this is just stair steps. If you only have a few spices, you're still good. If you want to step it up, here's some levels to go with. Okay, once you have your mixture all done with your spices in there, just set that down, and what you're gonna do is you're either gonna take a wooden spoon or your hand, whichever one you're more comfortable with, and you need to pull the skin on your turkey, and you need to move it around and get in there and make a pocket, because that's where you're gonna put this butter mixture we just made. You're gonna pop it in here between the skin and the breast meat, because it will help, for one, keep it moist, for two, it will add more flavor as this is cooking. Just take the butter with your hand, lift the skin, and go ahead and push it as far down as you can. And do this to each side.
All done?
Once you get a good amount of it under the skin, you're gonna take it and you're going to put it on the outside of the skin as well, really good all over, including some on the inside of the cavity. The next thing you're gonna do is take some kind of twine, and you're going to take the legs and you need to tie them together so that way they don't burn. The best thing is to wrap them around each other like that. Here is your bird ready to go in the oven. At this point, if you didn't put salt and pepper in your seasoning mix, or you think you didn't do enough, you can sprinkle it over the top. You can also shove the cavity with sliced lemons, some garlic, herbs, whatever you want to do, and all of that will also flavor the bird from the inside out. Turkey is now in the oven. I figure it's gonna take about 3 hours and 45 minutes to maybe 4 hours, and then you do need to plan time for your turkey to rest when it's done. I rest mine for a good 20 minutes or more, depending on the size of the bird, because then it will retain the moisture. If you go ahead and cut right into it, you're going to let every bit of the juice out and you're gonna have some very dry meat. So plan that into your time for your turkey. If it says it's got 4 hours left, you can plan 4.5 hours for fixing all of your sides and stuff. If you don't want your turkey to have to cook for 3 or 4 hours, you can ask your butcher to cut it into pieces. Bake it off on a big roasting sheet pan. I think it takes all of 90 minutes like that to bake a full turkey in the oven, broken apart. Or you can, even if you know how, you can spatchcock it, and it's basically where you're cutting out the backbone and squishing it down, and it just kind of out the turkey. That you can do also, and it cuts your cooking time in half as well. I'm a person that does basting just to keep my stuff a little moist. This back here is just 8 ounces of chicken broth, half a stick of butter, and then some of the seasonings I used on the turkey. And I keep it on just very, very low the whole time. And then every hour the turkey is in the oven, I will put a little bit of this just over the top of it. Fast forward several hours, my turkey has about 1.5 hours left to go, and now I'm gonna go ahead and start the rest of the prep work. I have my potatoes out to wash, peel, dice, all of that. You can also skip doing this and either buy the Bob Evans pre-done in the refrigerated section, or you can even use instant, your choice, whatever level you wanna do this. Back here I also have the green bean casserole. If you don't want to do the casserole, you can always just do green beans. There's several different ways to do them. You could saute them in a pan, onions, bacon, that's so good. Soy sauce is actually really good on them. Just different ways. You could play with that, but that way you still have a green vegetable to go with this. And then back there is also the stuff for me to make my pie. The one main tip I will give you if you're going to do real mashed potatoes is to use a russet or use a golden potato. Don't use red potatoes, they get very gummy, and the more you mash them and work them in, they get even more gummy. So if you want like a real sturdy mashed potato, go with a russet or a Yukon Gold. You're gonna wanna wash, peel, and dice up your potatoes. You don't have to go anything too small, just a decent size is fine. Then you're gonna put them in a pot and you can completely submerge them with water, and they could just sit on your stove without even being on until you're ready to boil them. My potatoes are in the pot, peeled, diced, completely submerged with the water, and they're not on, and they can sit here for several hours if I want them to before I even start them. Checking on the turkey, if you think it's getting a little too brown for you, like my legs are getting almost to the point of crispy, then go ahead and take some aluminum foil and make a tent across the top of it. I'll show you how in a minute because mine's almost to the point where it needs it. Basically, a look at the tenting, you're just kind of like pressing the foil at the top so it makes almost like a little tent over the top, but you're not pushing it down on any of the sides. The turkey has about 15 minutes left on its timer, so right now I'm gonna go ahead and mix up the pie, and I'm gonna mix up the green bean casserole. That way once the turkey officially comes out, I can start putting things in the oven. Green bean casserole is extremely simple. You just need 2 cans of green beans, drain these, 1 can of cream of mushroom, a cup of milk, half a teaspoon of pepper, and 1 1/3 cups of the little French fried onions things. That's all you need to make this work. Take your soup mix. Gwenny, watch out. Gwenny, watch out, back up a little. Make sure you get every bit of it out of the can, because it's where a lot of your flavor is coming from. And I like to put some of the milk in the can, and then just mix the milk around in the can. Dump it in with the rest of the milk. Half a teaspoon of the pepper. Try not to splash this, it's a clumpy mess, but you want to break this apart before you put your green beans in. Once you get it pretty smooth like that, go ahead and put your green beans in. And then half of your 1 1/3 cups of these go in here at this point.
Whoa.
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 Okay, then just mix it up like that. Get your pan. You don't need a 13 by 9, just like an 8 by 8 or a 9 by 9 will work for this. And pour it all in. Spread it out like that. And then this is ready for the oven. The next thing I'm gonna mix up is my pumpkin pie. They did not have one of the small cans, so I divided it in 2, so it'd be like a normal small can. However, the frozen pie doughs usually come in 2. So you could just double the recipe I'm about to show you right now, use both of these to use both of these, but I'm only making 1 pie. First things first, this needs to thaw a little bit, and it will be fine to thaw while we're waiting for the oven space, but take it out of the freezer and put it on a foil-lined cookie sheet while you're mixing everything else. My turkey timer just went off, so I'm gonna go ahead and take its temperature. In the breast, you want 165, and in the thigh, you want 175. When you're taking the temperature, just make sure to stay away from the bone, because that will ruin it. But I said 165 for the breast meat, and we're at 171 for the breast meat, so he's definitely done. Under there to his little thigh, if I can. No, it's bone. There we go. Yeah, and the thigh is already reading 176, so he's definitely done. He's out, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the oven for 30 minutes on 350. And then I'm also gonna go ahead and start the potatoes to boil, and don't forget to put a wooden spoon on the top so it doesn't boil over. For my pumpkin pie recipe, you're gonna need 1 15-ounce can, 2 eggs beaten, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, half a teaspoon of salt, and 1 of the cans of evaporated milk. Put your pumpkin in the bowl. Shake this really, really well before putting it in. And then go ahead and pour that whole can in. And your sugar. And go ahead and start mixing it gently so you don't splash it everywhere. Crack your eggs into a bowl. And go ahead and beat them up really, really well. Put those in. Mix everything really well. Half a teaspoon of salt. Half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. If you want to, you can go a slightly bit heavier, but that's up to you. Okay. Mix everything up really well. Just pour it into your crust. This will need to go in the oven for 15 minutes at 425 and then 45 to 55 minutes at 350. Once you take your turkey out of this pan, you're going to want to put all of this into something because this is what you're going to use to make your gravy. I just use like a giant measuring cup. That way I can sift out the extra fat and stuff. But you're gonna want all of that, just not the chunky pieces that are in it. This right here is the bag of rolls we use. They are delicious. This is the 20 count that is included with the price I gave you earlier. They do have a 10 count that is smaller, and it does include the bigger can of pumpkin from earlier. So that number could honestly go down to like $40 instead of $44. But these are so good. I'm gonna go ahead and put these on a pan because they're gonna be my next thing to go into the oven. If you've never boiled potatoes before, when someone says when they're fork tender, all it means is that you could put it in and then you could stab them with a fork and they'll just kind of slide right back off the fork. That's in between the fork obviously, but if it just slides right in and off, they're done. Go ahead and shut these off and then I'm gonna drain them. And back here I have the rolls on a pan to go in. I'm also gonna use a whole stick, this is margarine, not butter, but same difference, and a cup of milk, salt and pepper, and that's all I'm putting in the potatoes. This is a 5-pound bag of potatoes, so 1 stick of butter may sound like a lot, but it's really not. So just trust me on this, the whole stick and 1 cup of milk. Milk and butter are already in there. Do this first, then add your spices. If it needs more milk, add it before you do this and continue until you don't have any lumps or into the consistency that you like. And then just salt and pepper to taste. You can always do these a lot more elaborate. You can add some sour cream. You can add some cream cheese. That also makes them really, really good. But if you want just traditional, you've got it. The main timer just went off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to pull this out, take the remaining onions, sprinkle them over the top. Okay, I'm gonna push that back in and put the rolls for 5 minutes. And then gravy. See how it separates like this? This is the fat layer, this is the good stuff that you want. So take a spoon or a measuring cup and just get all of this off the top, just skim it off the top, and then this part down here is what we're gonna make our gravy with. The gravy is very simple. 3 tablespoons of butter. This is butter this time, not the margarine. This is the real stuff. Put it in a pot. If the butter is melted, so 3 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of flour. When you add it, just keep mixing because it will be a little pasty, and that's what you're looking for, is for it to make almost like a paste in there. Kind of like that. And then just stir it around until it gets as thick as you want it. Okay, the roll's just in the oven. This will go in 1 second. But now is when you do this because it only takes about 5 to 6 minutes. So you go ahead and just follow the directions on the box. I'm making 2. You can always make 1 for a smaller group. There is the turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, green bean casserole, stuffing, and rolls. I have to get out the cranberry sauce, and the pie is in the oven. As far as cranberry sauce goes, I don't make my own. I don't see a point. If you want to do that, it's a bag and it's some sugar and some orange juice. There's recipes online. We just use the jellied stuff in the can. However, if you do want the more whole cranberry appeal, they also make it in the can as well, and I do have some of that for the family too. I just pulled the pie from the oven and I did stab it with a knife in the middle and it came out clean. So that's how you know this is done, and then let it cool completely before trying to serve it. Not sure why I got this weird little air bubble, but otherwise it came out good. I cut into the pie. This is what it looks like. I'm gonna put it on the plate here in a second and show you that too, but it just comes out really nice, but you do have to let it cool completely to get to this point, but yeah, that's what it looks like. And a little trick if you wanna make the whipped cream a little seasonal too is to put a little bit of cinnamon on it. I do that even to my coffee. It just helps a little bit. But I wanted to show you guys exactly what we have remaining so you could take a good guess on how many people you can feed with what I had planned. First things first, this was 2 boxes of the stovetop. We probably only went through about 1. So there's that. The rolls, there's still a few left in there. This is almost completely gone. The gravy is about 1/3 left. This is almost completely gone, but my kids attack this. 5-pound bag of potatoes, we have half left. And then as far as the turkey goes, we still have 1 whole breast and part of a thigh on there, as well as this remaining meat right here. We fed a family of 7, basically 3 adult portions, 4 kids portions, and this is what we have remaining. So there you have it. That is a very easy, traditional Thanksgiving dinner. I wanted to show you that it's nothing to stress over and it's not a very difficult thing to do. In the free time while the turkey's in the oven, I literally sat down and watched an entire Christmas movie and hung out with the kids because there's really not a whole lot that you need to do in that time frame. You put the turkey in the oven, set it, forget it, and just go about the rest of your day. When that's done and comes out while it's resting is when you can make everything else and treat it like a normal dinner. No stress whatsoever, just treat it like a big chicken. But I hope you guys got a lot of tips from this video or any new recipes or anything, a little more confidence if it's gonna be your first year making one or even your 5th year and you're just a little timid. I hope this shows you just how easy it actually is to do a full-scale Thanksgiving dinner, whether it's a family of 6 or a family of 16. It is nothing to stress about and very simple. I will, however, have another video coming with our personal family recipes that we do every year for Thanksgiving. So this is just like the opening slate for us. We do have a lot more dishes that we traditionally do, and I'm gonna show those to you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please like this video so I know to make more like it. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.